After rapid growth between 2019 to 2021, the growth of voluntary carbon markets started to slow down over the past year, attributable to factors including the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where the conflict and the resultant energy crisis created a bearish sentiment in VCMs, as market participants found the volatile and lucrative oil and gas markets more attractive. There were also uncertainties over greenwashing, as VCMs have been caught up in controversies involving cheap and low-quality carbon credits that do not avoid or remove greenhouse gas emissions. Verra, a global leading carbon standard, was criticized for phantom rainforest offsets back in January this year. These allegations have caused concern over whether carbon offsets are more beneficial or detrimental to global decarbonization. With increased skepticism amongst market participants regarding the legitimacy of carbon offsets, the price of REDD+ credits plunged early this year as buyers retreated. The carbon offset market is oversupplied with energy generation and avoided deforestation offsets, many of which are of low quality, that has also contributed to low prices. VCMs are a growing market despite uncertainties. The market value of VCMs was valued at $2 billion in 2021 and is estimated to grow by at least 5 times to $10 to $40 billion by 2030, according to a report by BCG and Shell. While it is concerning that some credits do not deliver the benefits they claim, VCMs are still an important funding mechanism for the conservation of carbon sinks and valuable ecosystem services through REDD+ projects. Nature-based solutions are becoming a priority in the low-carbon transition, with growing awareness of increasing nature risks because of global dependencies on natural capital. An urgent VCM framework is also required under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. At COP27 last year, texts on Article 6.2 regarding the guidance of international trade of carbon credits and Article 6.4 on the setup of a centralized carbon market overseen by the UN saw some progress, but countries pushed back to 2023 a decision for project types that can produce credits, as well as definitions on what constitutes a high-quality carbon credit. To enable stakeholders to confidently engage in VCMs without risking greenwashing accusations, these are urgent but complex issues to tackle. Stakeholders remain hopeful that there will be some progress in Article 6 negotiations at COP28 in Dubai this year. Nonetheless, countries have begun to operationalize Article 6 through international collaborations on initiatives related to carbon markets. From 2024, carbon tax liable facilities in Singapore will be able to use high-quality international carbon credits to offset up to 5% of their taxable emissions. To facilitate this, Singapore's National Environmental Agency has signed agreements with organisations including Verra and Gold Standard to allow credits issued by them to help Singapore's carbon tax liable facilities meet part of their carbon tax obligations. Singapore has also signed agreements with countries like Cambodia, Bhutan and Papua New Guinea to facilitate collaboration on carbon credit projects to collectively advance global climate action towards the Paris Agreement goals. With the demand for carbon offsets from corporates anticipated to increase with policy developments and greater net zero commitments, a clear and mandated VCM framework can enable the VCM to thrive and genuinely contribute towards net zero goals. Despite uncertainties and criticism, corporates can consider VCMs as part of a more holistic decarbonization strategy. The urgency of the climate crisis and 2030 or 2050 climate commitments does not give us the luxury of time to wait for the development of a perfect market. Corporates can navigate through the uncertainty by prioritizing high-quality carbon credits to mitigate reputational risk and offset residual emissions in hard-to-abate sectors. To conclude, with increased scrutiny on the legitimacy of VCMs, there is pressure amongst nations and authorities to develop a consistent framework for the international trade of carbon credits as the market grows. This will be important to enable market participants to confidently engage in VCMs. While carbon offsets are important, they should not be used as a substitute for genuine emissions reduction efforts. Corporates should prioritize achieving reductions in absolute emissions before using carbon offsets for residual and unavoidable emissions for hard-to-abate sectors to complement existing decarbonization strategies.